Hello everyone, welcome to another episode on Angela Petina Presents. Now I have a special guest from United Kingdom. She is a successful actress. Her name is Ayvianna Snow. Let's learn more about her. All right. Hello, Ayvianna. Thank you so much for being on my show. It's an honor again, to have you on my show. And I've been following you on your social media sites, Instagram, Facebook, and also when I saw you on the Lockdown Hunting, is something we'll be discussing later on in an interview, film directed and written by Howard Ford, fantastic director. But before that, how are you? How you been?
Well, I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me on your show. The honor is all mine. And I'm so thrilled to actually meet you at last because you have been so supportive of my career over the last few years.
Oh,
You're
thank
so
you.
great at sharing stuff on Facebook, and I really, really appreciate all your support. So thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm just pleased to meet you at
Oh,
last.
absolutely, Aviana. Thank you so much. And well, what can I say? It's an honor. I'm so happy to finally meeting you, and I love your career. And just for the audience to know that you had approximately, I think, more than 10 short films and 27 feature films. There's something we're gonna mention just following
I've
your
actually stopped
history.
counting. Like I don't even
Oh,
know
I,
how
I
many
did
anymore.
yesterday, and I was telling my husband, "Hey, check
Really?
it out. This girl has a
So
big a
you've
big
done all the
trajectory."
counting that I haven't done.
Yes. And I say approximately because you have, things there in the process.
Oh,
Yeah. So no. What
goodness.
can I say? My honor, Ivana, and looking forward to see more work of you. You deserve all that success. Thank you so much. And for the start, the first question I asked to all my guests: what inspired you to be an actress? Because I saw so many testimonies, different reasons why, and many of them they are kind of similar. But I would like to see yours.
Oh my goodness. I think it's the only thing I've ever wanted to do, and I've always known that I wanted to act ever since I was a
Mm-hmm.
child. And I think I was often I was quite a lonely child. I was quite kind of shy and bookish and introverted, and I think drama and theatre kind of gave me a sort of escapism.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I didn't have any friends at school, so I was always the one
Mm-hmm.
kind of sitting on her own during lunch break with no one to sit with. And I used to go and sit in the little school theatre that we had. Um, and I think just sitting in that room and being near the stage kind of gave me a bit of solace in my lonely life. And it held a place in my heart and gave me something to hope for. And when you go to see theatre and you watch Shakespeare and you watch Oscar Wilde and all these wonderful playwrights, you don't feel
Mm-hmm.
alone. You feel part of something bigger than yourself. So I think it filled a void in my soul. um,
Yes, yes.
and yeah, and then I just kept doing it. And my greatest dream was to go to drama school. And when I was 17, I applied to, I think, every school in the UK and did
Mm-hmm.
like 25 auditions, just
Mm-hmm.
anywhere, any school that was running a course, anyone that would have me. And I was terribly lucky that I actually got in somewhere. One of these schools agreed to take me. I thought if I audition everywhere, then surely one of them will offer to take me. So then I got in and I just kept going and I just didn't stop.
Yes,
So
that's
I'm
good. But you
still here.
graduate with honors, no? You got a specialization, but you graduate with honors.
I have a BA honors in acting for the stage rather than
Mm.
for the screen. Um, although what the distinction is kind of a matter for debate. But yeah.
That's fantastic. And I also heard that some of the actors and actresses that says, yeah, I like one of the reasons inspired me to be an actress because I can be someone else. So
Mm,
I perform a character than in real life, it's not legal, it's not permanent to do it. And then you have, the fantasy, okay, I'm going to be a criminal. Oh, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that,
Absolutely. Yeah. And you can be confident, and you can be like, for instance, when I was young, I was never very good at flirting with boys. I wasn't any good at it. But you can play a character who is incredibly confident with men and confident in her sexuality, and you can suddenly do all this stuff that I would never be able to do as myself. So it can be very liberating.
I can imagine. Yes, that's a good point. It's true. And just a question, by any chance, are you considered to do modeling? Because I see your pictures, how you do your fantastic, I love them. I'm fan of to see you share your pictures.
You
have a very beautiful, not only external, but beautiful inside, beautiful soul person that you are. But are you considering to do modeling in the future?
I mean, I do a bit of modeling now, because it's when you're an actor, you're always looking for things you can kind of fit in around acting jobs. And it's difficult for me to work in an office 9 to 5, because I have to have the sort of flexibility in my schedule that allows me to, I have to go off to shoot in Scotland next week or whatever. So modeling is something I can fit in my schedule, because it doesn't take too long to do a shoot. It only takes a couple of hours, and it's very enjoyable. I'm used to working with a camera, so I'm not, some people I think sort of freeze up in front of a camera, whereas I'm quite confident in front of a camera. So it's, I suppose the modeling and acting kind of have a similar skill set, so it's easy to sort of move between the two. So I mean, it's enjoyable, and it's not hugely difficult. So I can sort of fit it in.
Yes, but you look so stunning, so beautiful. Your pictures.
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
I love you so much. And let's start from the beginning, for kind of your beginning steps. Just go back to your parts of your history. What about the white, color, black, and how was the experience of that one? It was a screen in BFI London Film Festival. How was your experience?
That was a wonderful experience. I think it was my first proper feature film that I got. I had only done theatre and short films before, so it was a wonderful experience. It was a wonderful first film. It was great to be working with people of that calibre. Joseph Adesunloy is an amazing director, and Dudley, who played the lead, was completely fantastic and gave a really nuanced, layered performance. It was about a photographer living quite a debauched life in London, drugs and sex and sort of meaningless flings with women. And he goes back to Senegal, which is where his father is. He has to bury his father. His father has died. And while he's there, he reconnects with his family and kind of rediscovers meaningful relationships. So it's about that kind of journey of finding yourself and finding meaning in life. So it's a really beautiful film, and it's something I'm very proud to have been involved with. And the process of shooting it was just, I learned an awful lot on that set. It was great to be working with such great people. And when you're a young actor starting out, it's fantastic to be around that talent and to learn from them.
Absolutely. And what about I think was your leading role, the first one for the Black Lake, directed by award-winning Kate Perbes, and also won award for the Woman in Horror Film Festival. How was the experience of that leading role for that feature film?
So that was another amazing experience. That film is about sexual violence against women. Churel is a South Asian witch, and I play a Churel. And the kind of the folk tradition is that a woman who is wronged in some way in life comes back as a Churel to seek revenge. So it could be seen as just a kind of revenge drama, but I think I think it's more than that, in that it explores kind of misogyny in South Asia and the way women are treated. And it was fascinating to get into that culture and bring those women's stories to light.
Yes.
I'm very passionate about women's rights and feminism, and any time that I can find a script which has a kind of social message about women,
Yes.
I'm always like, yes, that's the kind of thing I want to be doing.
That's fantastic. So that was your first main role you did, right? On the feature film, on that particular film? That was your first one?
I
Leading
think
role?
White Collar Black was before that. I think
As a
it's
leading
hard
role?
to remember.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Oh, as a leading role. Oh, gosh, I mean, I can't even remember what order I did things in my head, because
Well,
it's
that's a
been like
good thing. That's a
all a
good thing,
blur,
Ayvianna. It says, I had you did so many, and I
I
was
think
just
you're
reading here
more of
for
an
me.
expert than me on what I've done, because you seem to know all the dates, and I'm like,
No, but it's a good thing. As there was, I remember when I was studying vocal classes, and my vocal teacher told me, never trust an artist's mind, because they forget everything. They say to
yeah,
forget everything.
exactly.
It was telling
I'm
about
like,
me. Yes, no, but it's understandable. No, but that's very interesting, beautiful film. Is the focus of it, and this kind of topics is very interesting, especially nowadays, and sadly in Latin America, with this also suffering those kind of similar things as well. But yeah, we appreciate now the independent films are focusing also in those type of topics, what is happening in the real life. And I can imagine the experience that you having to get into it, and perform the role on that
yeah,
difficult situation.
it genuinely is challenging. I mean, just last weekend I was filming here in London, on a film called Yellow, which is not out yet, but it starts with I play a prostitute who's going around to a client. And it starts out as a consensual encounter, and then he becomes violent and it turns into a rape. And I genuinely found it challenging and emotionally difficult to film. And I was almost surprised at my own response to it, because I kind of thought, oh, I'm an actress, it's fine, it's just acting, I'll be fine. And I was kind of, and then as we started to do it in several different takes over and over again, I was surprised by how much it started to hurt me. And it sort of, it triggers something in you emotionally, because even though obviously I'm aware it's just acting and I'm not genuinely being raped, the emotions that it kind of brings to the surface are real, even though the scene isn't. And I guess, I mean, part of that is just the acting process, that you have to try to find something real in yourself to bring to the scene. But yeah, no, it did affect me emotionally during the filming. And then I was kind of, it was funny, for like an hour or so after we'd shot it, I could hardly look at the male actor who had played the rapist. And I know that he's just an actor, and I know that it's not real at all. But there was just something about what the reality of what I'd been through in the scene, and and then like slowly I came out of it, and by the end of the day I was fine again. But yeah, it does have an impact on you.
Wow. Yeah, that's very interesting what you're sharing, because that means that how professional actress you are, and you in because in reality, to just my personal opinion, to do a role, no matter which kind of role, it's like you completely detach your own personality to become someone else. It's like you abstracting all the feelings. You feel the pain, you feel the sadness of that particular character, and that's pretty good about you, and yes, and especially those kind of films that brings a lot of, fear, blood, and suffering, and all these things. And it is something that's, like I said at the beginning, is happening. It's a real life thing. It's happening nowadays in many parts of the world.
Absolutely. I mean, there was a moment, even though it is an acted scene, there was a moment when I tried to get away and he grabs me and throws me back over the sofa with quite a lot of physical force. And even though it's acting, there's still a little bit of my brain. I still felt the physical force of being thrown, and I still had a moment of, oh my God, this is scary. Because I'm an actress, but you're underneath that, you're still a woman somewhere. And it's an interesting kind of, because at one point I was crying, and it's weird. You almost have to kind of hold two different things in your head at the same time, because I can feel the emotion and I am upset, but also I'm being professional and I'm still doing the scene. And yeah, it's an interesting kind of balance, tightrope.
I can imagine. No, I'm looking forward to see the film, because you're telling me about it. I need to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it, and I'm interested to see what it looks like, because obviously I know how I felt when we were doing it, and I'm interested to see if it looks real on screen. I hope it does, because you want it to look real.
Yes, exactly. But I saw your amazing work with the Lockdown Hunting, directed by Howard Ford. How was your experience on that feature film with no crew, because it was just one person, was him only during the pandemic?
Literally.
How do you feel about that?
That was really fun. I mean, I know you're a friend of Howard's, aren't you? So you know he's such a nice guy. It felt very intimate because, as you said, there was no crew. And we filmed in my house, in this room that I'm sitting in now. So it didn't feel like usually on sets, like for instance in that film I was just talking about with the rape scene, there's a lot of people around you. So even though I'm doing my thing, you kind of have to block out the fact that there's two men over here talking about lights, and there's someone over there holding a boom, and there's someone over there, and you just have to kind of stay in your own zone and try and not let it affect you. But on Lockdown Hauntings, I didn't really have that problem, and it felt, because it was literally just me and Howard, so it felt very intimate. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's very much kind of do-it-yourself filmmaking, in that Howard was doing all the crewing, and if we needed, there was one scene where we needed another actor, so Howard had to do that himself, as well as setting up the camera and the lights. And so it's talk about kind of all hands on deck, very much. It forces you to be resourceful and creative within kind of what's available. But then, it also had advantages as well, because of the intimacy, it allows you to, I guess, access those emotions that I was talking about before.
Exactly.
Yeah, without
and very seamless, very seamless, because if he doesn't mention it by putting the note, there was no crew, it was difficult to notice that how well he did, the fantastic work that he did. On that film. Yes, and all the casting, all the cast, a fantastic job. And it was, I can imagine back in the day, because nobody knew what happened in reality with the virus, how difficult, how dangerous it was. And there was a big admiration I have for each one of you taking the risk, and let's do it, I want to make it. And I think that particular film is going to be, it's a special film, especially for his career, for your career, guys, as well, because everything was stopped. There was no films, there was nothing. It was nothing new in the television, my personal opinion, until he says, okay, I have to do something. I'm not going to stay just waiting to find out what's going to happen. Let's make it.
It was a scary time. It was scary because, as you say, there was a lot of uncertainty, anxiety. We didn't know what was happening. It was frightening. Will my job still be here next week? Will I have enough food? Will I be able to go to the grocery store next week? Will, all these questions. But the horror community is so special, and we all pull together and support one another. I have a film called video shop, Tales of Terror, which was at
Yes,
Horror on
that one. I'm
Sea.
looking forward for that one. Fantastic.
Oh, thank you. It was at Horror on Sea last week, and there was such a great turnout from the horror community that they had to open 2 screens because there were too many people to fit into one screen. And, you know, it just goes to show that I really felt very, very proud and just so thrilled. And it was heartwarming that all these people came out to support each other. So, yeah, it's another example of us all pulling together in the kind of, in that spirit.
That's fantastic. And actually, I saw a recently note by BBC about the video shop Tales of the
we were
video
on
shop
the
Tales
on
of
the BBC
Terror.
News.
Yes, it's mentioned. Yeah, everywhere. How you feel about that? So,
oh, I mean, it's amazing. It's great to get that recognition because it's a small festival. It's only been going about 10 years, and you know, it's a local cinema in Southend. And for us to make the national news over the whole of the UK, it's so special. And yeah, fantastic to get that recognition for the work that,
fantastic.
well, especially people like Sing Lal, who really started that festival and has been so great at promoting it. It's lovely for him and for all the horror people.
That's fantastic. Yes, and well, what can I say? I'm just desperately looking for that one. And any additional projects that you're involved right now besides the recent films that we mentioned?
Oh, I mean, I've got quite a few things coming out this year. I'm in a very lucky position. I've worked with all these great people. So Video Shop is going to Romford in February. And Romford's another festival that I love, run by Spencer Hawken, another great horror supporter, and a supporter of the indie community. I've got How to Kill Monsters coming out later this year, which is a sequel to Book of Monsters, which is a kind of horror comedy with a lot of it's directed by Stuart Spark, who's wonderful, and he's so good at making kind of practical effects. So it's not kind of special effects done in a computer months after the event. Most of the effects are actually done there and then on the set on the day, which gives it a totally different feel. And it's so much nicer as an actor as well to have an actual monster in front of you rather than having to react to a green screen or something. You know, sometimes because it's so much of it is computer generated nowadays, you get someone, you know, pointing at a bit on the wall saying pretend it's a monster, you know. And it's so much nicer to have actual physical things in front of you to work with. The Final 45 is coming out, set during the Second World War, where I play a French resistance leader fighting Nazis. And that was fun as well.
It's incredible to see how the independent film industry is expanding more and more and more. And I think the people preference, including myself, I'm a big fan of independent film. That's the reason my show is a home for independent artists. That's what we call. And yes, because
and it's
amazing. It's how is the quality, the followers is. Nothing to ask for Hollywood. I'm sorry if people get offended, but I'm a big fan of independent filmmakers. I stick with you guys. I love it.
Thank you so much. It's so important that we have platforms like your show to promote independent films. So thank you for being here and doing your show and giving us this platform.
Fantastic. And also how the distribution companies is giving more opportunities to distribute, you know, the independent film independent film works, like Paramount, Warner Bros. Now is connecting to distribute more of the independent films. There's another note for the followers to take in consideration.
Oh, I absolutely hope so. You know, it would be great if we could get more distribution for independent films. And it's great, like for instance, what they do at Romford, where they have you know, they screen so many independent films, which at least gives them an opportunity to be seen and to find an audience. And hopefully that will lead to greater opportunities for distribution. If distributors can see that there is an audience for these films,
Exactly.
that people are interested and they want to buy them and they want to see them, then that can only lead to more distribution.
Yes, yes. And also, and I noticed also for independent films, now it's getting more in cinemas, Latin America, more broadcast nowadays. And it's getting expanding more and more and more and more. And it's like a
I mean, I
different
think
group.
the lockdown.
Mhm.
So no, I think the lockdown hauntings was just shown in Vietnam quite recently, like a couple of weeks ago. So you're right. Yeah, it's becoming more and more global.
In
The
Latin America
marketplace.
also,
Yeah.
yes. That's fantastic. I think people are, they are getting more into the film industry and the independent film industry, because I think, just a personal opinion, that yes, it's the other side of the art, and it's more freedom to express and open their ideas, and that's fantastic. That's the reason this show is concentrating more for the independent artists. We feel very proud about
Thank
that,
you.
and very proud having fantastic artists like you in my show, and looking
Oh.
forward to do more. No, yes, what can I say? Believe it. It is. What can I say? I love you, Ayvianna, so much, your work, and you will see me support you so much, and continue,
Can hide behind
looking
this
forward for
microphone.
more, looking for more of your films. Yes, and looking forward for more interviews with you in the near future, to do a follow up with your career. So that's an honor
I would
for.
love that. Yeah, thank
Yes,
you. Absolutely. Yeah,
yes,
invite me back.
absolutely, definitely. That's for sure. And also, because I share my shows also, I have my radio show, Radio Lumini, based in
Oh.
Brighton, UK. So, and they support
Oh,
also
okay,
the
cool.
independent artists. So here in YouTube channel, and in additional platform that in the near future that we're working on, my husband and myself, but also people can see the show here in YouTube, but also in Radio Lumini. This last question I asked to all my guests,
Oh,
and what advice can you share to those who wants to be in the film industry? Because the purpose of this show is also for inspirational purposes.
I would say just start making your film. There's no perfect moment. Like I'm on various Facebook groups for actors, and I was looking at a post the other day, and there was a lady saying, I'd love to start acting, but I want to wait until I lose weight.
Oh, yes,
and I thought, you know what? There's never going to be a perfect moment for you to start. It's not about, I have to be a certain weight, I have to look perfect, or I have to have a certain job, or I have to have a certain amount of funding. There's no perfect time. Just start, just do it. And the first film you make is not going to be amazing, and that's fine. You're learning and you'll grow and you'll get better as you go along. So make your first film, even if it's not great. Fine. Then next year make your second film and it'll be better, and you'll grow and you'll learn by doing. And don't let anyone stand in your way, and don't let anyone stop you. Believe in yourself. You know what
Thanks,
you're
Ayvianna,
capable
for
of.
bringing me that point, because I including myself, I have a tendency to have a self-esteem, because I'm a little weight, I'm not slim.
You're
Everyone,
beautiful.
woman
Stop
wants
it.
to be. Oh, thank you. Everyone wants to have to be like that, but I'm thinking that not only me, there's a lot of people have that in mentality, especially women, and it's good for you to mention that there are roles for anyone. In particular, there can be roles for any, different shapes and body styles, and
Yeah,
it's not
and
something like get forced in my mind. I have to be slim, I have to be this, I have to be that.
no, well, exactly. You don't have to be anything. Be yourself. And we all come in different shapes and sizes. And I think it's really weird, this kind of the idea that everyone has to conform to look the same shape or size. And it's not. Sometimes I almost feel like people think that it's a virtue in me that I happen to be tall and slim. It's not. I was just born like this, and I just woke up like this. It's not a virtue in me. It's nothing amazing that I'm doing. I just got out of bed and I looked like this, So, and someone else got up and they look different. And so what? And film really ought to reflect a diversity of the reality of life. And when you walk down the street, you don't encounter a load of models. You encounter people of different ages and people with disabilities and people with different heritages. And that's, film should reflect reality, I think. So my advice to that lady was, don't be ridiculous. Don't put off your dream until some future date. The future date is not coming. There's never going to be a perfect day. Just go with what you have and do your best, and you'll get there.
That's a good, thank you for a beautiful advice, and you nail it to that, because this is the first thing all women we have in our mind. Until I have these size of clothes, okay, I'm gonna look in the camera. I was like that, to be honest, at the beginning. Until my husband pushed me. And I was, now I see myself, good. And I'm not too bad. I'm okay. I love myself. No. And it's something is in the process. But I think the best step we can do is taking the first decision, move the first step forward. And I'm going to do it. And start, mindfulness ourselves, and I can start loving, having compassion ourselves.
You know what? I bought a pair of trousers yesterday in a size 8, and I took them home and they didn't fit. And this morning, before I did the podcast, I took them back to the shop and I bought the 10. And so what? The 10 is a better fit. I still look great. It's fine. I don't have a moment of shame or guilt. Why should I? This sort of thing. Oh, I should have fitted into the 8. No, the clothes fit you, not the other way around. I don't have to fit the clothes. The clothes fit me.
Yes. No, thank you, Ayvianna, for sharing this. And I think anyone who's listening and watching this podcast and they feel it and they're feeling not confident about themselves, they're gonna say, "Oh, thank you, Ayvianna, for sharing this." And no matter how we look is also how the projection we give to others. That's the most important, our inside. And yes, absolutely. And I like to share my own experience, to know that I'm an example, and I like to encourage others, like it's something we need to start working on, and don't fall on the propaganda, what they're selling in media. And in reality, we are beautiful no matter how physically we are. Yes, exactly. Absolutely.
So I'm a great proponent of women having confidence in themselves.
That's good. Beautiful, Ayvianna. You're very inspirational, and I'm very honored to call you friend.
Oh, honey.
And I want to call you. I love you so much. So beautiful. Okay, Ayvianna, pues congratulations for all your projects. Looking forward for future interviews.
You too.
And I'm very proud, to share your work to others. And people, and thank you so much. People like you is making my dream possible. And I am living my dream to make it to be part of your circle of the independent artists. And what can I say? I said at the beginning, I started saying it, starting this year, this is the home for the independent artists. So everyone is welcome.
Thank you so much, Angela. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, big hugs. I love you. Take care.